Hello and welcome. It is your gay best friend, Dwayne. I'm here on March 30th at about 11 p.m. I am here to give you a quick update on what's going on. I wanted to check in with you guys. It's been a couple of weeks, mainly because of this pandemic that's going on. I'll give you a little update. So, I want to say the middle of March, just over 2 weeks ago, the company that I worked for did close down. I do work, I really don't mention where I work, but at this point, what can it hurt? I've been watching some YouTube, and there's someone that I've gotten to watch pretty regularly now, and she was very forthcoming where she works. And she works in Disney World here in Orlando, or not in Orlando, but in Florida, Central Florida. I actually work for Universal Studios Orlando here in Orlando, Florida. And we were closed for March 15th, and we were told until April 1st. And a couple of days ago, we were just told until April 19th. And I know a lot of people are not fortunate enough to be able to work from home, like myself. There are a lot of companies out there that are closing, and they believe, in my heart of hearts, I have to believe this, that larger companies are furloughing people or laying people off or downright firing people because they need to stay afloat because they don't know how long this is going to last. And with not knowing how long it's going to last, they want their employees to get paid, and they don't want their company to go under, so they can collect unemployment during this time and then rehire everyone back. There are stories out there in the social media world with articles saying things like Hobby Lobby just fired everybody last minute via phone call, and rumor has it that somebody from those stores are going to clean out people's lockers and then drop their stuff off at their doorstep. That's just mean and cruel, and there's nothing nice about that. I can't think of another word for that. That's just not nice. It's just downright cold. I know several people who are still working because if you are an essential employee, you can still work. And essential employees include any place that gives food, which would include things like Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks, and grocery stores and Walmarts and big box stores are allowed to be open, as well as landscapers, as well as construction crews. So these people are considered essential workers, and there's a whole bunch more. I mean, if you're a lawyer, you can still run your business. If you are a mechanic, you can still run your business. But theme parks are not considered essential in this respect, and I respect that. I have mentioned in the past that I work with and meet thousands of people a week from people from all over the world, and it's true. And if you go back and listen to a couple of my podcasts from January, February, I had a cold that I just couldn't shake. So a couple of people I work with had the same exact thing as I had, and I could only assume, I'm not a doctor. Put that disclaimer out there right now. I am not a doctor. I just am a person who feels, looking at all of the data and the information I've received, that I could very well have had COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, at that point, but did not know, because it took about 3 weeks before this uncontrollable dry cough would go away. I have a very strong work ethic, as a lot of people I know do. So we would be going to work, and I felt fine. I've worked I've worked with fevers before and not realized it. I just do my job. That's just me. And a lot of people are like that. And then you look at people who are calling out once every 2 weeks because, they don't feel good. They have a headache. Whatever. I've worked with migraines, and not putting anybody else down, but I'm starting to think maybe we should care for ourselves a little more. And if we can get anything out of this time, it's don't put yourself at risk, period. That's what it should come down to. How are you taking care of yourself? And how are you dealing with this pandemic happening and this social distancing that's happening? And I know a lot of people have not taken it too seriously. I also have seen articles about people still celebrating spring break, and these are probably the same people that were eating Tide Pods a couple of years ago. I mean, it's just crazy how certain groups of people feel like they're untouchable. I have been social distancing. I have for the past 2 weeks now. I've gone out a couple of times just for groceries and essentials, and I went for a long drive because that's still safe. But we're on lockdown from like 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Nothing good is open between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. except hospitals and legs. And, it's fine. I know a lot of people, I being one of them, used to walk into my job and have to walk through crowds of people, thousands of people, like just there in my face, and thinking, gosh, why don't these people just go home? Like, or wishing for time off, an extended period of time off, because you can get so much done when you have time off. And you think, that's great. That would be amazing. And now that we have that time, everybody's reevaluating themselves. People are going through phases now where if you work at Disney World or if you work at Universal Studios, there is a certain look you have to upkeep. You have to have natural hair color, natural nail polish color. Makeup has to be a certain toned down value. And now people are just going crazy, dyeing their hair purple and blue. And the gay men are bleaching their hair. I have done none of these things. The only thing I have done is not shaved for 2 weeks. And that's not looking too good right now. And how do men with beards do it? Like, I am always aware that I have not shaved. And I just don't have the genes or the testosterone or whatever to grow a full beard. So it looks kind of patchy in certain areas. And it's been over 2 weeks, and I'm like, I'll just shave it off. But I can't bring myself to do it because just in case I can get it, give it a couple more days. It'll fill in a bit more. It'll look much better. But it's itchy. How do you guys do it? I really want to know. Let me know. So having this time off, people like, I would exercise more. I'd be able to clean my house. I'd be able to read. I would do all these amazing things to work on themselves. And I would say 95% or more of my people I know personally, plus my social media, are not doing that. They are, and they've communicated this out in the open. They've done nothing. They've lost their, consistency in their routines. Gyms are closed, so people aren't working out. The people who did. Even though we're allowed to go for walks. I have not done any of this stuff. People are binge watching TV. You can only do that for so long before your brain starts to go mush. So right now I'm trying to get back into some kind of a routine. a new routine, a new COVID-19 routine. I don't want to gain the COVID-19 pounds. So I'm trying to have like one project in the house to work on every day. I've cleaned my oven. I've cleaned my mattress cover. I've, organized my bedroom closet. Like, there's a list of things that I've done. I'm in the middle of a book right now called Hidden Bodies, which is a follow-up to the Netflix original show called You. Season 2 is out now, and this book supposedly is the same as the TV show. So before I watch the TV show, I want to read the book because I have the book here. So I'm about halfway through that. I've come up with a mental list of areas I can improve on myself for my job and areas I can improve myself as a human being. And I have not touched one fucking thing yet. It does no good. This is my opinion. It does no good if it's in your head. You have to write it down. That's the first step. It's kind of like going on a diet. If you don't ink it, don't drink it. If you don't write it, don't bite it. Old Weight Watchers things. So I have been thinking about you guys a lot lately. I've got a really nice email that I want to share with you in a future episode. A follow-up to my How to Measure Your Penis episode. I've been going through your emails. I've been writing you guys back. I will be as supportive as possible that I could be for you guys. So please make sure you're emailing me. I will get back to you within a day. Within a day, I am on those emails regularly. I stepped away from social media for the first maybe week of this. Now I'm caught back into it, which is fine. You got to know when to look and when to put away. I don't watch the news all day long. I don't read articles about what's going on in the world all day long. I have a chunk of time that I do. And I've actually cut that back as well. So instead of doing it in the morning, once in the afternoon, once before I go to bed, it's now like every other day, once a day. I will look at everything because it changes so much. It does. I know the schools here in Central Florida, in Orange County, they have decided that they were just going to do distance learning or virtual learning for their schools until it was supposed to be until April 15th. And this morning they sent out another note. Today was the first day it started here. And by the afternoon, there was already a conference that happened, and they have decided they're going until May 1st, at least, it said. Literally, at least until May 1st, quote unquote. So we have at least, I'm thinking, another month of this. And we can't turn into mush because my job is physical. I am outdoors in the Florida heat, walking around a lot in the theme parks. And if you don't do that and you're not used to doing that, it's like any job, you're supposed to go back. I am afraid of going back to my job and forgetting everything that I've learned. It is so weird to think that way, but it's only been 2 weeks. We've got at least 6 more weeks to go. My job has currently said we're looking at April 19th tentatively, but now that the President of the United States, and I say that term very loosely, for our current administration, said that, it's going to go until at least April 30th. South Florida has a distancing rule until May 15th. So who knows what's going to happen, but we can't let ourselves go. We can't. We can't just, because if we let ourselves go, we're going to be zombies, and we're going to be so out of shape, and we're going to be Nell from the movie Nell. Like, we are going to be going outside for the first time, interacting with people, and forgetting how to say hello to people. That's not okay. So do what you can for yourself to try to stick to a routine. Somebody I saw posted, a friend of mine said, he started getting into a rut. So today, he got up at a time that he would go to work. He showered and got dressed like he was going to work. And he left his house, drove to the store, picked up a coffee, turned around and came home. And that totally changed his mood. Getting back into some kind of a routine, which is great. I recommend that for everybody. Make sure you're showering every day. Make sure you are on top of it, whether you are alone or whether you have loved ones next to you or with you during this time, or if you have family that you're living with. I am fortunate to have, my 2 adult sons here with me and my husband and myself. So that is great. But that sometimes isn't enough for something so extreme that's going on. I was the one who left the house every day, like 5-6 days a week to go to work. I'm not doing that. I mean, this has impacted me greatly in that respect. Every day I kept sitting there going, sitting on the couch, moving from the couch back to bed, to the dining room table, to the couch, flicking through YouTube. A lot of celebrities and a lot of people are going live now. So to help with the social distancing, there have been concerts that people are performing from home because of this, keeping people engaged, keeping their target audiences, still invested and helping them get through this. So I think all those things are great, but it takes me back to a time years ago where I sat down. I had first moved from North Jersey to Central Jersey, and I didn't know anybody down there except the person I was dating. And we moved to this small little town called Seabright in New Jersey. Shout out to Seabright if you know where that is, next to Sandy Hook. And I lived in a house that I felt as though I was basically stranded there, because we moved down there because he wanted to be closer to his family. I didn't know anybody down there. We lived right on the bay, about a block from the ocean, because Seabright is 1 block wide and about 1.5 miles long. And I didn't know my neighbors. I didn't really want to know my neighbors. I've never really wanted to know my neighbors, and that's just, I think, a defense mechanism I have, or a North Jersey thing. But he would go to work. We had 1 car. I was stuck at home Monday through Friday, and I would wake up with him, see him off to work, and I would sit down on the couch, and I would either watch TV, or I would look to my left. Then at the time I had an acoustic guitar. I was like, I'm going to learn how to play. And I sat there all day until it was time for him to come home. And I did nothing but fantasize about learning how to play the guitar. And this went on for months. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a way to get to work. I didn't have money. I was dependent on this one person. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've gone those 5 days without showering, without changing. It was sad and depressing looking back at it. But here I am, kind of in the same position. I'm sitting there. Just the only difference is I have social media and I have you guys. As well as my family. I have a car, but nowhere to go. But I've caught myself several days now losing track of time, thinking, did I shower today? Did I shower yesterday? Maybe I should get dressed. I saw a funny meme the other day that said, every once in a while, throw on a pair of pants because, you don't want to be surprised when they don't fit when this is all over, because, pajamas and sweatpants are very forgiving, but your jeans are not, or your pants are not. And that's so true. So I did wind up getting out of that relationship, obviously, and moved forward. Thank God. But my point is, it is so easy to get stuck in that rut. And now that I know what that feels like, and once I started feeling that again, I kind of regressed mentally a little bit for a few of those days, going back into that time period of my life. And I started watching movies from that time period of my life that I remember watching. So I've watched Heathers this week from like 1990. I've watched Heavenly Kid from 1985. I've watched Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which was very big in 1995. So there were a couple of others, but I sat there watching those movies that I haven't seen for years that were so ingrained and embedded into my brain where I could repeat the lines and the dialogue verbatim for most of the movie, and I haven't seen them in like 10, 20 years. But saying all that, when I used to watch those movies, it used to be about me thinking, I wonder what my life will be like in 20 years, 10 years. Will I get the soulmate? You know, because there were always movies that I watched about love, almost like romantic comedies in a sense, where people would fall in love and they would have this passionate romance, and they had friends that they were around, and I used to think one day that's what I want. That I wanted to have those friends, those close connections, like brothers almost, where we go to brunch every Sunday together, because we were really close, and we'd work out a couple of times a week together at the gym, and we'd all have our own separate lives. We worked in all different places, but we always got together a couple of times a week, and we'd talk, and it'd be great. And that's what those movies set you up for. Like, that's what life is supposed to be like. You're happiest when that happens. That's a complete life. You have the relationship, you have your best friends that are like family. And back when I was watching those movies for the first time over and over and over again, I kept thinking, I hope I get that. I hope I have that in like 10, 20 years in the future, that I have the kids that I want, that I have the relationship that I want, and I have the job and the career and the friends and all that wonderful stuff, and be able to go shopping and not think about, what the total is going to be, because of course I have the money, I have a good job. But as I'm watching those movies now, those thoughts are popping into my head again, just like from back then. Oh, I wonder if I'm going to get the job, if I'm going to have that kind of a job, and if I'm going to have those friends. And some of those things I do have. I don't have the friends. You guys are my friends, but I don't have those friends here in my life. I just haven't connected with people down here in Florida like that. And I think a part of it is because I meet so many people at work. And there's an age difference between the people I work with. I told you guys I'm 42. Being 42 years old, most of the people I work with are in their mid-20s. We're a totally different generational gap. Everybody right now is playing some Animal Crossings game. And I'm like, no thank you. All my references and points of reference in life, they have no idea what it's about. They don't know what a pager is. They don't know what the first flip phone was like. So it's hard to relate on both sides. So I don't have those close friendships, which is fine. I'm accepting that. And it would be nice to think that in the future, when this is all over and we get to go back outside and we feel the sunlight on our face and we are back at work meeting people and greeting them again, that we'll get there, that I will find those people. And that would be great. But my point is, it is so easy, so easy to slip back into that. And you cannot let that happen to you. Are you finding yourself slipping back into the past, or slipping into a depression, or slipping into a blob, with no purpose? Number one thing, my advice to you guys is make that list. Write it down. Write down what you want to accomplish for the next day. And hopefully, by the end of all this, when we come through this stronger than ever, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, we keep some of those habits that we are making solid throughout this crisis. Because it is so important to take care of yourselves and your family and your loved ones that you are around right now. And do it. Like, we're trying to do movie nights here, a couple of nights a week with the family. My older son is considered an essential worker. So he is going to work a couple of days a week when they need him. So he gets to go out of the house. My younger son, who's 18, is doing schoolwork all from home now. So Florida virtual, Valencia college work, because he has classes there. And his high school, senior year in high school, he's got 3 classes that now are online. I'm just putting all my business out there tonight, aren't I? So anyway, so we're all trying to keep in that routine. I have found myself up until 4 a.m. on average, thinking, well, I don't have to be anywhere tomorrow. I haven't set an alarm for weeks now. It's crazy. It really, really is. It is such a difference. It is like not being employed. And for those of you who are not employed right now, better days are coming. I promise you. I have to believe when this is done, stores are going to reopen. People are going to have already moved on, leaving spots open for you. There are several businesses right now that are booming. And if you are not, I don't want to say afraid, but if you're strong enough to be able to take the precautions that you need to take to work at a grocery store, or work for Amazon, or some of the restaurants out there that are still open, do it. Do it. Get out of the house. Do your thing. It's important. It's important for you. It's important for your mind, body, and soul to be there. My goal is to do one physical thing a day in the house, whether it's cleaning the stove, the oven, or cleaning out the closet, giving my dogs a bath. So doing something physical like that in my house to better the lives of the people I live with, and for me, because I can't stand the clutter. Clutter sucks. It drives me nuts. But to also work on this podcast. I have had visions of doing a YouTube channel of this podcast. I think that would be amazing. And I have a goal. I have to write down these goals to make them work. It's like I have nothing better else to do. I could be doing a podcast every single day, 3 times a day if I wanted to. I mean, hell, this is raw and unedited here. I am literally hitting record, talking to you guys, stopping it, uploading it, putting in a description, and sending it out there to you because I want to show you that I am real. This is what it is. If I cough, if I sneeze, if I burp, you're going to hear it. So, what I wanted to do was record these on my phone or through a camera here in the house while I'm recording and uploading that to a YouTube channel just to see. And I already have ideas about doing giveaways, but I have to make some money off of this to be able to afford to be able to do giveaways. And according to YouTube policies, like I've been trying to read up into this and trying to understand and whatnot. Like you need to have so many hours of YouTube watched to be able to advertise or monetize yourself. And knowing my potty mouth, I'll get demonetized anyway. And you have to have over 1,000 subscribers. And with faith, I'm sure we can make that happen. But once I do, I have giveaways sitting here. I have an extra Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette sitting here unopened, untouched, waiting to be given away. Like, these are things, I have several other things here as well that I'm ready to just give to you guys, so hopefully, like, that's a goal of mine, to be able to not only record a podcast more frequently, almost daily, to also move forward with the YouTube channel and showing people how raw I can actually be. You can see how horrible my beard is growing in. And, moving forward, I want to hear what you guys have planned for yourself. It's almost 11:30 at night. I should be in bed by now. I should have gotten my to-do list for tomorrow done. I don't yet, but this was more important to me. So, I hope wherever you are, you're being safe. I hope whatever situation you're in, you are taking the precautions necessary to take care of yourself first, and then your loved ones and family members right after that. Wash your damn hands. If you do go out, bring hand sanitizer with you. Just, how to do this. You've been preparing for this for your whole life. I have enough soap and hand sanitizers from Bath and Body Works. Like, I knew this day was coming. And I bet a lot of you are there too. So, email me, guys, at yourgaybestfriend@hotmail.com. Let me know what you guys are doing for yourselves during this quarantine, how you're keeping some type of schedule. Are you working? If you are an essential worker, thank you. I know I've named a lot of different occupations during this, but it would be so unfair not to mention the nurses and the doctors and all the health officials out there and all the healthcare workers, the mental health care workers that are still working and putting themselves at risk every single day. All the group home workers. You guys rock. I know my life would be in a very different place right now if you weren't in it. Both the people listening to this podcast and the mental health workers and, doctors and nurses. So, guys, I love you. Please take care of yourselves. Email me what you're doing for yourself. All right? Have a great one, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.